Hi, this is Beth Burgess from Smiles Therapy. I want to talk to you today about how to grow your recovery. And this can be if you've had an addiction, or equally it applies to people who've had problems with mental health. So we're going to look at how and why you should be constantly kind of working on building up a really strong recovery. And I'm going to sort of explain it in a way that hopefully you can actually understand, because if you really want to know what happens in the brain with addictions, behaviours, you have to understand quite a lot of brain chemistry and sort of science and all about neurons and stuff like this. But it's a really simple way to look at it, and actually is kind of accurate as well, is to look at the simile of it being like a tree. So when you have an addiction, every addictive behaviour basically adds onto this branch. So it's branches of neurons, we're calling it branches of a tree. And every time you do something addictive, so you water this little seedling with alcohol, or you fertilise it with drugs, then basically this addiction tree goes really, really strong. And it's easy to climb up it then. Really easy for your brain to just automatically go that way, or for you to climb up it. Okay. Now that tree, because you know what like an oak's like, it's like, you know, they last for like years and years and years, and they're very sturdy and they're very strong. And if you spent a lot of time watering your tree, and it's been going for a while, growing, having addiction or mental health, with negative thoughts, you know, that can be a bit of rain on your tree as well, things like that, then it's easy to kind of like fall back into it. It's very hard to cut it down. So if you can't cut it down, and this is why most people who've crossed over into addiction cannot actually return to using substances safely, because that tree is always there. It's immediately there, you know, it's not going anywhere. Like the oak, you know, it might sort of like, oh, okay, like drop a few branches if you're not tending to it as much. But what it won't do is go away. So what you have to do instead is build another tree beside it, and this is your recovery tree. And the more that you add to your recovery tree, so the more you water it with positive behaviours, things that reinforce your recovery, things that give you a new pathway to go down, your brain a new pathway to go down, so you're not reacting the same old way, but you're acting in this new recovered way. Basically, every time you add to that tree grows stronger. And eventually what happens is your brain will start to follow that neural pathway or tree. You can climb that tree more easily. So it just makes it easier to make your recovery stronger. Now, the reason why it's so hard, particularly in the beginning when you have an addiction, to kind of, you know, stick to recovery and everything, the reason why it's so difficult is that you've got a really big strong tree there, and it's kind of like overshadowing the other tree. So you have to work really, really hard at putting everything you've got into this new tree that you want to build in your brain. So basically, doing positive things every single day is really important. So whether that's getting, you know, your dopamine hits, so that's the brain chemical that's released by addiction, but also with rewarding behaviours. So whether you get that in a healthy way in other ways, so by exercising, by helping other people, by being kind, by being around friends who are good and healthy for you, everything that you do every day can help water that recovery tree. Okay, so it grows big and big and strong, and it's got its branches. Now sometimes, you know, what we do is we relapse into old behaviours. That can happen as well, because the tree's still there. So you might start to get cravings or negative thinking, and that tree's sort of like going, oh yeah, give me a bit more of that, you know, because I'm dying for water here. So you might find that at certain times you get, you know, urges to behave in your old ways, but if you do that, you're just going to make the tree stronger. So what you should do at those times is really focus on building the other tree up. So fertilise it even more, give it even more good stuff. talk to people about recovery. Watch my videos, read some books. If you don't know how to build a nice, strong recovery, there's some good ideas in my book, The Happy Addict, if you haven't already read it, about basically making your life really fulfilling in recovery. And it's kind of geared towards addicts, but I've been told by doctors and everyone that basically it's actually a good sort of thing to apply to your life, whoever you are. Ways of building positive habits in and sort of, actually doing what you like with your life rather than being enslaved by symptoms of an addiction or a mental health problem. So that's why you have to keep going, because that addiction tree is always there, okay, or that mental health tree that makes you just want to like act out is always there. It's like an oak, it's pretty strong. But the more you can do to build up that recovery tree and have some lovely, nice leaves on it, and it's beautiful actually, recovery it is. So I like comparing it to a tree because it's a wonderful thing, and you can grow so many branches off it. You have so many more opportunities, because that's the only thing about the recovery, the addiction tree, or the bad behaviour tree. It's only got like one line up really. It's like one of those sort of like fir trees. The branches just don't lead you anywhere. There's no sort of beauty in them. They're just sort of it's just like one way, and that's just what we do. Whereas when you have a recovery tree, it's got like absolutely wide branches, like going out like absolutely everywhere, different opportunities, new feelings, new positive experiences, new ways to experience life. You'll get more, your branches will be sort of strong in confidence and things like that, which they're not when you have an addiction tree. They're just, the confidence branches are all flimsy and flappy and, not great. So, that's how I kind of wanted to explain it to you. So never ever forget that if you've had an addiction, it doesn't go away like that. It's still there in the background in your forest, waiting for you to water it again. And if you do sort of act negatively, or have a bit of a relapse or something, you are kind of just helping that tree to just thrive. And instead of that, what you want to be doing is making the recovery tree thrive. Okay, I hope that explains a bit better. That is actually based on science. It's I've just explained it using a tree, but it is about neurons and networks and how your brain and behaviour link up. But I hope that's a helpful way of explaining it to you, so you know what to do when you get those sort of urges. Your tree's telling you, come on, give me some water, man, give me some fertiliser. Instead, what you need to do is go, no, I think that recovery tree needs a bit more at this time. Okay? Alright, I hope that's helped. I'll speak to you soon. Take care, bye.